I can grasp a sense of feeling interconnectedness with the web of existence of which we are a part, or even merging with it. But if there's no memory of the past existence, what was the point of that existence? Unfortunately, I can't write to Darrell Reeney and ask him, because he died of cancer some time ago. He knew he was terminally ill when he wrote The Death of Forever and his 1994 book, The Music of the Mind.
We can really only present an introduction to Reeney's ideas. Reeney wrote that we all tend to think consciousness as being awareness of our surroundings, but there is a progressive scale of different degrees of awareness. He thought some humans have reached higher stages than others. Ego is time-obsessed and death-haunted, but a highly evolved consciousness can access a timeless state. Reeney believed that Jesus, Goethe, William Blake, Khalil Gibran and T.S. Eliot are examples of people who have achieved such a state. Goethe, for example, wrote, "One moment holds eternity. To the evolved mind, reality appears as a timeless continuum." Reeney quotes Lawrence Durrell's book, Readable Relativity. The universe as an entity is timeless and spaceless. What each individual perceives is merely his own time section. But all events, past, present and future, as we call them, are present in our four-dimensional space-time continuum. A universe without past or present, as static as a pile of films which can be formed into a reel for cinematograph.
Well, the concept that everything, past, present and future, is already laid down as static sounds very deterministic. But Reeney suggested the space-time continuum is like a landscape that we can explore. What happens to us depends on the choices we make during our life's journey. In his 1994 book, Music of the Mind, Reeney wrote, "Complete freedom to move in 4 dimensions would cause chaos, so one dimension, time, is not free. You can't go backwards, but past moments still exist. The past doesn't cease to exist because your mind moves beyond it. No moment is more or less real than any other."
That confirms the idea I spoke about earlier, that eternity has something to do with not being able to change what has happened. That idea was given to me by Dr. Carl Tetzler of Harrietfield, Victoria, while he was guiding us on a walk climbing Mount Feathertop. I should have asked him if he had read Music of the Mind. One of the many thought-provoking statements in that book is that language gives birth to anticipation and recall. We find it almost impossible to step outside this verbal mode of consciousness. We glimpse other modes of consciousness when we are absorbed in something or in deep meditation. We lose track of time.
And Reeney believed that deep consciousness, the kind that is freed of time, doesn't depend on the brain. He saw the brain as a kind of filter to contract consciousness, to give us the best chance of survival in the here and now. He thought consciousness was, quote, "does not inhabit the doomed prison of matter." Reeney had a great deal to say about consciousness and growing beyond the ego-self level of consciousness, but it is about time to draw our address to a close.
Well, that's right, we don't have an eternity to talk about eternity. But if deep consciousness isn't confined to the brain, then it may be able to survive physical death. We're not trying to convince you that eternal life exists. We're just sharing ideas with you. On a website titled the Stanford Encyclopedia of Philosophy, we found the eternalist point of view. Augustine and the Roman philosopher Boethius were eternalists. In the autumn 2008 edition of the encyclopedia, Paul Helm wrote that many eternalist thinkers have held the view that God exists apart from time or outside time. God possesses life all at once. But the expression all at once is not meant to indicate a moment in time, but absence of a temporal sequence. God does not exist in time at all. He is apart from his creation. Time is not a substance or a thing, but a relation between things, or more exactly, a relation between changes in things.
We've already spoken about the concept of space-time as a four-dimensional continuum. There's a where and when of something. And I suppose God and eternity could be the exceptions if they exist outside of space-time. But we have spent enough time now talking about eternity. So we'd like to invite you to join us in singing our final hymn, number 259, The Eternal Now.
Our closing words are by Sarah York. We receive fragments of holiness, glimpses of eternity, brief moments of insight. Let us gather them up, for the precious gifts they are, and renewed by their grace, move boldly into the unknown.